I hope that you are having a better week than I am having because, as I shared in the intro, I recently misplaced $33,709 exactly. And the reason that I want to talk about it is several reasons. Number one, I think that the process for getting it back, and I will get it back, we'll share a lot of information on just number one, me trying to practice what I preach in terms of preparedness for financial emergencies. It will also touch on relationship dynamics because obviously when you misplace that amount of money, you have to tell your spouse. And it will, try and highlight some areas where when we talk about leverage and some things that you can do in terms of when you need access to funds, here's where you can go. All of those lessons are kind of encapsulated in this one mistake that I made and how I am choosing to recover from it. So let me lay the groundwork for you, or the pretext for the context, as some people would say. I woke up last Friday, April 17th, and I logged in to check my bank account. Now, I try not to do that every single day because it's not the most useful of exercises, but I checked it last Friday morning because it was payday. Not for me, it was payroll day for staff. And when I logged in, I saw a very unfortunate message waiting for me. And that message was that I had overdrawn my account by almost $30,000. And as soon as I saw that amount, I knew exactly what had happened. Let me explain. We've talked about on this podcast over and over again about the importance of paying quarterly taxes as an entrepreneur. And April 15th is not just the day that tax returns are due. It's also the date that if you owed on your taxes from the previous year, you have to make that last payment. And it's the date, if you are paying quarterly taxes for the current year, that you have to make the first quarter payment if you don't want to be assessed underpayment penalties. Now, one thing I can say is I am always on top of my tax planning documents. I keep a running tab of what I'm earning throughout the year. So it's very rarely a surprise when it comes to the amount that I owe, and I get my information into my tax preparer as soon as possible. I want to jump the line. I don't want to be sending in tax documents in late March or early April and all of a sudden they're slammed. So I get my stuff in at the end of January, early February, and I talk to my tax preparer. Again, I believe in proactive tax planning to discuss kind of an estimate of what I think I might owe, some things that I might do to lower that tax bill before April 15th. And I talk about the year ahead so that if there's anything that I need to build into my planning, that I have done so. As an example, for the coming year, we'll talk about this in future episodes, I'm considering converting to an S Corp to lower the payroll taxes that I pay on my income throughout the year. So I'm looking backwards and I'm looking forwards, and that's a process that I followed when it came to my 2025 taxes. After I send in those tax documents, after we have those conversations about some things I can do before April 15th, because I spend a significant amount of my working hours as a financial advisor helping other clients look over their tax returns, I send in my information and then I'm in the weeds in my own work. We do what's called block scheduling at New Money, New Problems, where we meet with every single recurring client that we have in the spring, summer, and fall within the same 8-week period. And one of those 8 weeks is in the middle of tax time so that we can help them if there's anything on their return that we think needs to be amended, corrected before they finalize what they send in. So after I've sent in my information, I am slammed. It's just that type of season, and my planning, which I tried to do before, can kind of get lost in the shuffle. Well, that happened this year more than most years. It was a crazy busy tax season, a crazy busy personal season. And while I had the draft return from my tax preparer, I had not finalized it with him. And I also had not e-signed what he planned to file. So we got all the way to April 13th, and I didn't even realize I hadn't e-signed it. My CPA reached out to me and said, "Hey, I need a signature from you and your wife. Otherwise, I can't file this return for you." I log on, I see the documents, I e-sign the documents without even looking at them. Again, in my mind, we've already talked about this draft return. I hadn't done much in the interim. It should be pretty straightforward. But what I did remember for sure is that in the last conversation we had, he told me that I would have to pay $33,709. So that's April 13th. Now, I know that if I don't make that payment by April 15th, then they're going to start assessing me penalties and interest. So the next task in my mind is to go to the IRS database, log into my account, and pay the $33,709.